out there on a lot of these things and how to take care of them, how to maintain them, so it's going to last you a lifetime. And these are designed to do that as long as you take care of them.
That's the biggest thing, take care of it. So we talked about it. It has the ability to be let down. So when you're letting the bow down, that's also going to help, prolong the strings and cables. It's also going to, take a lot less stress off the limbs, off the cams and everything like that. It comes with the illuminated scope. It has dots in it. They're very nice halo dots. I personally like that a lot better because I can see the full target that I'm aiming at. They're actually went as far too as to have them numbered inside the scope. So it's 20 all the way down to 100, I think it is. We don't encourage 100-yard shots. Practice range, yep, you can shoot that far if you want to. We always refer to crossbows, no matter how fast and how accurate they get, it's a 40-yard one-shot weapon.
Yeah, now you got some of these that are 500 feet per second and 505 and all that kind of stuff. I mean, folks, it's not a performance issue, it's an ethics issue. These bows are going to shoot that fire, and those of us who have hunted whitetails know that they react to a squirrel dropping a nut on the ground or a twig snapping, and you don't want to risk wounding that animal.
Yep.
With the higher speed bows, you might be able to reach out there at 50 yards. But again, it's all about practice, getting out there, understanding your weapon, no different than a rifle or a shotgun. Get out there, pattern it, make sure it functions, and develop your confidence.
That's right. So we want to kind of move on here, but there's one last thing that I kind of want to hit on here. Obviously, it's got sling. It's got the ability to have the sling. It's got a very, very smooth trigger on it. This is an awesome, awesome crossbow, everybody. I had a train of thought, Mark. Now I lost it. Oh, I wanted to refer to the bolts that it comes with right away.
Yep.
So it comes with 3 of the carbon bolts. These are the .003s, and they call it the 400, right?
Yep.
That's the feet per second that this bow shoots. Now, is there an option if somebody wants to upgrade bolts, right? You don't get it in the pack, but you can always purchase those separately.
Yeah, you can get the 001s if you want to do that for shooting longer distances, but the 003s are going to do that job pretty solid. Now they've got some 500 arrows out there if you prefer something that's a little heavier. Some guys are doing that. Those are available as an aftermarket. They've got lighted bolts as well that go along with this, but the ones that it comes with perform perfectly.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing that we always educate people to is do not shoot the same spot twice with your crossbow. Once you get this Ravin R26 dialed in, you are literally going to shoot tacks. I mean, you're going to be very accurate. So we always recommend shoot different spots because you're going to probably, because we're saving you all kinds of money on this bow to begin with, like Mark said, add some of the lighted nocks to it, add some of the lighted bolts to it, and then purchase an additional 6-pack as well because use 3 for practice, use 3 for hunting. The worst thing you want to do is lose one and now all of a sudden you're scrambling, especially the way inventories are. So while you're on the Real Shot website, check that on out. If you do have any questions, again, refer to Mark's social media stuff on therealshot.com or just give him a call. And again, it's 920-750-6140. But I want to make sure we kind of covered all the basis, right? The bow is phenomenal, 400 feet per second. 26 inches. You do have the ability to let it down. Oh, this is my thought here before we kind of wrap up the Ravin portion of this today's show here is talk about one last thing for me, Mark, is you said it's what, how wide when it's uncocked right now?
When it's uncocked, you're looking at 5.75 and then 9 inches. So it compresses several inches.
So can you talk about if you are hunting out of a ground blind or even out of a tree stand, you need to pay attention to this thing when you shoot it, right? So you don't knock a limb or a cam on something?
Yeah, dealt with those. Be very conscious of, you get caught up in the moment, you got a big buck in front of you or, big turkey or whatever. If you're shooting out of those solid blinds, the hard-sided blinds,
yep,
be conscious of where your cams are because they will expand back to their normal size. So when you get in the blind or whatever, just kind of move around with it when it's uncocked and you know how much room. So yeah, be very, very careful about that.
Because we all know that deer and turkeys and whatever else you may be shooting at with your crossbow, they always like to come in on the corners, right? So now we think we have a clear view But it's just like your vertical bow, right? Your vertical bow expands obviously vertically. Well, these limbs are going to expand horizontally. So in a corner situation, either back yourself out, make sure that you have enough clearance. But remember, this is how wide it is at rest. It gets narrower when you cock it. So those limbs are going to expand out on the shot. And the last thing you want to do is rack this thing in a corner of a permanent blind or a ground blind or hit a tree limb or something like that, because you will be paying to fix it.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
But I will say, just to piggyback on that, that Ravin, I've been working on crossbows for a lot of years, and Ravin is one of the best companies to work with on taking care of our customers. And I've always been a big believer in, I want to carry the brands here that I can take care of my customers. I can cannibalize it. I can do what I need to do to get my customer out the door. And then I'm going to get that support on the backside and not have to worry about it. So they're phenomenal. Brock, it's awesome.
Give them a shout out, right? And that's one thing too is, Ravin, they got over 30 patents on these crossbows. They kind of are a pioneer in the way of the ability to let the crossbows down, the speed feature, the narrow limbs, the flightless rail, a lot of benefits. Check it out on the Ravin website. They also have a 5-year non-transferable warranty. Again, we're not going to get into that whole lot of that warranty part. Those are questions for Mark here at the Real Shot, 920-750-6140. But they do have a solid warranty program for that. And it's one of those things that if you purchase it from the Real Shot, this is the support you get on the backside, right? We take care of all of our customers as best as we absolutely can. So when you get your bow, the first thing you're going to want to do is hop on that Ravin website, and you want to warranty this, register the bow, because that starts your warranty right away.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead and take care of that. Again, everybody, $19.99 is the normal retail price on this R26. And this is one of these things that, we don't have a lot of these left in stock. And right now is the perfect opportunity. Hunting season is really knocking on the door. It's time to get this bow, get familiar with it, get it put together, get it sighted in. You're going to want to shoot a broadhead. No matter what broadhead you choose, there's a lot of great broadheads out there, but you're going to want to probably shoot a broadhead or as close to that practice broadhead as you absolutely can to make sure it's dialed in. These things are awesome, accurate, but like Mark said, it comes down to ethics, everybody. Shoot what you're going to hunt with. Make sure this thing is awesome and accurate, ready to go. Light it knocks. You're going to want to do all that stuff too. But again, $15.99. You see the price on the screen is what the sale price is here on the realshot.com website, TRS Live right here. But we're not done yet. Mark's going to made some time in the schedule. He's going to hang out with me. We got a couple more crossbow products that we're going to talk about. So coming up next here, we're going to jump a little bit to the 10-point brand, and we're going to talk about the Alpha Bright lighted knock system. We refer to lighted knocks here with the Ravin. Now let's talk about the 10-point brand and some of their great quality products. So coming up next here on TRS Live, we're talking about the 10-point Alpha Bright lighted knock systems.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. All right, everybody, welcome back again to TRS Live. My name is Matt Trotz, and joining me today is Mark Druick. He has over 20 years of crossbow knowledge. He's been working at the reel shop for 12 years, and he is the crossbow specialist as well as the store manager. And now we're kind of moving a little bit to some lighted knocks here. So on the docket right now is the 10-point Alpha Bright lighted knock system. This is a 3-pack. This is an adapter kit if you already have some of the bolts from 10-point, and Mark's going to get into more in depth on what bolts fit this Alpha Bright system. It's a 3-pack. It's an adapter kit, so it should fit a majority of what Mark talks about. $34.99 is your normal retail on that, and this is an awesome deal because $26.99. This is something, Mark, that you're definitely going to want to add to your arsenal for crossbow shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got into the old Pro Elites or Pro Light arrows, these are going to work on now. The key here is that a lot of these aren't going to work on any of the newer bows, the high-speed bows.
Yep.
They're not going to work. So if you got, within the last couple of years, 10 Points put out some 470s, some 505s, and any of those, these are not designed for that.
Okay.
These are designed for any of the bows prior to the last couple of years, going back to the Shadow Ultralights, the Titan Extremes, the Venoms, the Vapors, any of those older ones, Stealth NXT, the Wicked Ridge, the older ones, they're all going to work on this, but you got to be cautious. If you have any questions, okay,
yes,
you need to call and find out and make sure. And we've actually done a video on these too about all the different types of bolts. I think that's out there available for people to look at. But we'll be touching base on this throughout the year here with the videos we do in the store. But it's imperative that you don't shoot these out of any of these newer ones because guaranteed it'll blow up. So, but going to the Knox system itself, these just pop right out. And you've got yourself a knock like this. If you've got this kind of, it's like a 3-prong adapter sleeve, and it comes with those in the back here, and these will all adapt to 3 different.
I'll be your Vanna here.
All right, attaboy. You're not as good looking, but that's okay. These little adapter sleeves will fit into several different diameter arrows, so you'll be able to utilize them. So
go over this here because we weren't quite on this screen. So this is the adapter that will fit into
the actual bolt.
Okay, perfect.
And each one of them's got a little dimple or a little bump on the top here that has to line up with the cock feather, which would be this white colored one right here. Because if you don't, and you don't acclimate this knock correctly, it's going to do one of 2 things. Your arrow, again, will end up in Albuquerque, or you will blow up the arrow. So it's got to be, the string's got to be totally encapsulated by that knock. So that's why they put that little bump on there. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to put these in, there's a couple ways to get the old ones out, which would be the old Omni Knocks.
Yep.
Boiling hot water. Some of them you'll be able to take a pliers and pull them out. Some you won't. So you're going to have to put them in boiling hot water and then loosen that up, and you should be able to get what little bit of glue is in there that holds them in. But when you put them in, put the knock in the sleeve and get that lined up to that cock feather. Put a little mark on that bolt so you know exactly where to put that. Because once you pop that in there, if you've got to put a little glue in there, you're not going to be turning it again. You'll be starting that process all over. So that's what's really key, is you got to make sure that that cock feather that sits on the rail on those bows and that knock is perfectly set right in there. And the way that these are designed is you got this little, if I can get my big brat fingers here to pick this thing up.
Can you go to the zoom camera here as Mark's demonstrating this, and we'll pay attention here now.
All right, so you got this little light stick right here. And the way that this works, it's got a little rubber O-ring on there that holds it in. So what you got to do is you got to put that in. If you push it straight in, you'll push that rubber O-ring down, turn the light stick, and it will rotate all the way through and it'll slide right in. So what happens is when this hits, there's going to be a little gap here between that sleeve and the knock. That will activate the light. So now you've got,
boom, look at that.
So, and that will light up, yeah. And so it'll look like this and nice and bright, so you can be able to find that.
Go your way a little bit more. The other see is confusing. See, I'm not the
You
only
are
one.
getting sleepy. So, you know, and then to deactivate it, it's real simple. You got this out.
See, I'm telling you, it's like,
No, your other right.
it's like a trick.
It
It's
is,
tricking
it is.
me all the time
What's
on
he
this
doing
show.
back there? You're gonna have to have a chat with him. So, what you do is get the lights on, get it off. Just take your thumbnail, and you get it right behind that.
And just boom.
And just
that's
pop
a
it
magic
back.
trick, everybody.
Yep. So again, once that, yeah, I got it right there.
There, put it
Once
right
it-
there. Now you can
Once
see
it lights up, you know, then makes it easier to find it. Nice and bright. They're going to last, I think, about 40 continuous hours before it burns out. So it'll give you time to find it, unless, of course, it's buried in the ground. So,
Correct.
You know, they come in red and green. You know, you have your preference. Comes with a little tool to acclimate stuff. Just a great way to upgrade your old Omni knocks
that
to the Alpha style knock. And yeah, comes in a 3-pack. Take advantage of this. That's a great deal.
So this is what it looks like when Mark already has the.
You got that on there wrong. I'm just kidding.
You got me all confused here now. So like again, like you said, you can't see it on this camera, but right here there's a dimple, and it's very, very obvious. That goes in line with your oddball vein or your cock vein. And then when it's sitting on the rail for these 10-point crossbows, it's sitting down like this. Now the nice thing that 10-point did, we kind of talked about with that with the Ravin. Well, 10-point kind of took some of their ideas too, and they made this knock. The throat of this knock very big, so it sits up in there. Now, the thing about this is when it sits against the string, you may have to make sure 100% that it's butted up the whole entire way. Now, on the shot, so if my hand, this hand that's shaking, simulates the string, it's going to push it, and now it turns it on. And that is, so you don't want it on, you don't need it on before you shoot the crossbow. This light will turn on. Now, like Mark was saying, it's really super simple. All you have to do now is pull the knock out, and you have to pull the whole entire knock portion of it out. Man, this thing is so bright, it like blurs out the screen. But I'm not pulling out this yellow collar that fits up with this Pro Elite. I'm pulling the knock portion out like Mark said. And you can see here I have the whole knock portion. This is something that you need to do. Then again, don't just pull it straight out, Mark, and stop me at any time if I'm doing this incorrectly. I always spin it out.
Yep.
And then like Mark said, if you don't have a thumbnail, you're going to have to grow your thumbnail out a little bit. But then you just pull it and boom, and now it's off. Basically, this is like a lighted bobber
That's exactly what it is.
style light.
Yep.
But then again, when you're ready to hunt again, you twist it back in. That's super important. Don't just shove it in there. Twist it back in, and then all you have to do is just put it back in your knot collar with that dimple down, line it up, and it just does one click, and that's how you know it's seated properly.
Yep,
in
correct.
there.
Yep.
And the nice
absolutely.
thing is, if you have any questions, we want you to refer to Mark. Now you can go main screen, Aaron, if you'd like. When you have any questions on what I'm buying this kit, right? Because it's such a screaming deal. $26.99 is the sales price. What bolts will it fit? Well, 10-point has that information on the back of this kit. And if you've already have some of the older style bows again, and what did you kind of say for what bows or bolts it will fit?
You know, the Pro Lights, the Pro Elites, I mean, that's still in the lineup now, but the new ones are going to have a silver insert that the knock fits in. So you'll be able to tell that. If you've got an old one and it's got a yellow knock with little notches in it, that's an Omni knock. Then there's the Alpha knocks like this right here, and those will function properly. But if you got any of the newer bows, we can help you, discover which one can go with. Now, the trick to that is any of the newer ones that they manufacture can retro on any of the older ones.
Oh.
So we're starting to get guys that are, have some of these older bolts and they're looking to replace them. We're trying to get them to upgrade to the newer ones so that covers them, and it's a much better knock and a lot more safe.
Okay, so again, that's also a great tip. I appreciate that, Mark. So if you do have any questions, right, you can always refer to the back of the package once you get it in the mail, and it's going to tell you what it fit. Obviously, otherwise, therealshot.com and 10point.com, they have all that information out there. I tell you what, just call Mark. He would be happy to help you in most situations. But on the back of the packaging here, they explain which collars will fit which bolts, right? And they even color coded it like Mark referred to here, so you know. So if I have the yellow one, it fits this arrow. If I have the white one, it fits this bolt. And some of them go in a little bit tougher. Are there any tips? You know, you don't want to pick the wrong collar for the wrong bolt, because otherwise you run the risk of splintering the back of that shaft, right?
Yep.
Do you recommend putting a little bit of glue on there, or if it fits so tightly you really don't need to?
Well, you go by what the guide is on the back there. Some of them might be a little stiff, but then put the actual knock part in itself into the sleeve and just knock it down.
Just knock it down.
Yep. Some of them will be tight. Some you might have to put a dab of glue on them. Don't put too much, because if you need to get them out, you're going to struggle getting it out if you put too much glue. You just need enough of it. You know, enough contact in it, it's tight enough so that you can pull the knockout without pulling the whole sleeve.
Pulling the whole sleeve out again.
Yep.
So the product that we're referring to right now is the 10-point Alpha Bright, right? Now, and Mark referred to, this doesn't fit a lot of the newer bows, or any of the newer bows is basically how I can phrase that. So again, it's one of those things that do your homework right before you make this purchase. But if you have some of the older 10-point bolts, or some of the older 10-point crossbows, this Alpha Bright system, and it's a 3-pack, so you're getting 3 knocks, you're getting 3 light sticks, plus you get on the backside, like we already showed you get all the additional collars to fit those, so it's a 3-pack. So at $26.99, if you have a arsenal of 10-point bolts that these will qualify for, you might as well buy 2 packs right away, because I always like to have one lighted knock for practice, and then I like to have my hunting style as well. And the cool thing about this is, can you practice with this without the light stick in it?
Yep. I always tell everybody too, you can, with the light stick in that's removable, why not sight it in? Then you don't have to keep walking down there. You know exactly where you're hitting, and make your adjustments on your scope with that lighted bolt. So it helps in that fashion, because you can just pull it out and turn it off. So
if you are going to practice with your Alpha Bright knock that comes with your kit, then you'd want to have it all the way seated in there, not set like if you're ready to turn the light on. So all I did there is I removed the light stick from it. I put the knock in there, the practice, or the actual knock itself. See, that time I didn't line it up. And now I just seated it properly, all the way in. So now you can practice with this, and this is going to get you really darn close. But I think this weighs like, what, 4 grains, 5 grains?
Not much.
It's not a whole lot. So once you actually add the light stick to the bolt that it fits, you should be pretty darn accurate and ready to go for that. So this is an awesome one. I mean, 10-point, we talked about, they are the pioneers in the crossbow game.
Yeah, they've been an industry leader for as long as I've been in the archery industry, and I pretty much worked on every one that they've manufactured up to this point. So,
I mean, they have over 95 U.S. patents. They've been in the game, what is it, Mark, like 30-something years?
Over 35 years, yeah.
Over 35 years. So the 10-point's a very, very reputable company. If you have a crossbow, or if you know somebody that has a crossbow, there's a real good chance that they either owned a 10-point at some time, or they still own a 10-point. So it's one of those brands that you know, you trust. The other cool thing about 10-point, it's a USA brand, right? It's made right here in
Mogadore,
the US.
Ohio.
Yep, so it's another reputable company, great company. Again, they thought of a lot of high-end features for their bolts, for their crossbows, and this is one too. Like, practice-wise, it makes a ton of sense, but hunting-wise, having a lighted knock, these bolts are so fast, you don't see them where they hit. You hear where they hit.
Yeah.
You don't see them because they're so fast. It's a blink of an eye. So do yourself a favor, add a lighted knock to the back of your bolt, whether it's a 10-point, maybe a Ravin, or whatever brand you got out there. But this is something that you definitely have to have, because once you add a broadhead to this, once you have the whole thing, this is a pretty expensive thing, and you want to find it not only to know where you hit your animal, but that's going to save you some money as well.
Yeah, if you're shooting down on an angle, if you're shooting straight out of a blind, your chances of finding it without a light are going to be slim to none, but it does help.
It does definitely help. So everybody, this is the 10-point Alpha Bright lighted knock system. And again, that system is 3 of the knocks. And that's like I have here the red. We also have the green up here. 3 additional light sticks. And then you get, like Mark said, you get the tool for it to help you put in the knock collars. You get a bunch of different collars in the package as well to help you fit. And again, if you are not sure what bolts you have, and if this kit at an awesome deal at $26.99 will fit your crossbow bolts, do us a favor, 920-750-6140. You can call Mark here at the store. You can also send a message to our Facebook page. That's TRS Live on Facebook and Instagram, or The Real Shot on Facebook and Instagram. And if Mark's, we will talk to Mark. We will get those messages to Mark. But this is one, that's an awesome deal at $26.99. Normal retail price is $34.99. Add these to your arsenal for this year, and it's going to help you become a lot more successful hunter out there as well. Right?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so we have one last product coming up. Again, it's Crossbow Wednesday here. We talked about the bow. Now we talked about a light and knock for your 10-point system. The last thing we really have to talk about are broadheads. So next up here on TRS Live, we have the Ravin Expandable broadheads. We're going to be talking about the Ravin Titanium broadheads and the Ravin aluminum broadheads. Once you're done with today's show, you'll pretty much have everything you need to get out and get ready to go hunting. So coming up next, Ravin broadheads here on TRS Live.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. I've been fishing professionally for 4 years. I spent 3 years as a pro in the Northern Opens, and now I've been fishing 1 year in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot.
There's the boom right there, Gary Atkins, your smallmouth specialist.
Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are going to join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. All right, everybody, welcome back again to TRS Live. We're here saving you all kinds of money, and we're declaring this one Crossbow Wednesday here. I got Mark Jurek joining me. He's been a crossbow specialist for The Real Shot for 12 years, been working on crossbows for over 20 years. This guy has extreme knowledge. Again, if any of the things that you've seen here on today's show and you want to know a little bit more, Facebook, Instagram, you can reach out to us there, or you can call the store at 920-750-6140 and talk to Mark or Mike here on the sales floor. They're going to help you out. Now, Aaron, are you ready for this? Mark and I discussed this during the commercial break. This is our TRS Live real deal of the day. Ooh, look at the flames. It's such
get close to that. It's burning my beard.
It's such a
turn
good
it off.
deal, Mark. We're on fire. This is a hot buy right here.
That got pretty close.
since your go-to.
I was like hair in here.
So everybody, here we go. So we talked about the Ravin R26 Crossbow that is available at $1599.99. That's an awesome deal. That bow is phenomenal. Again, some of the things we're talking about here today, gone tomorrow mentality, right? So it may be on sale for 24 hours, may be on sale for 48 hours. If you're watching it live or if you're watching it here, you got to jump on therealshot.com. Now, one thing too is there's a categories tab on the left-hand side of that screen. It says TRS Live Shopping. You click on that, brings up a calendar of some of the stuff we talked about. Then you scroll up a little bit further and you're going to see all the products that we've talked about on past shows and some of the products here. Now, here's the stipulation about that. Some of those products may not be available because they've sold out at some of the screaming deals. The sales price may be gone. So I can highly encourage you, if you set your timer, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, we go live here at TRS Live with some awesome deals because our #1 goal is to save you money and highlight some of the great products that The Real Shot carries. So jump on that. Otherwise, that deal may be gone or you may have missed out. So do not wait. Now, with the Ravin Crossbow, you're going to need some broadheads, Mark. And up now we have the Ravin aluminum and titanium expandable broadheads. And this is our real deal of the day. Let's go. Let's start talking broadheads.
Yeah, they're both going to kill stuff. There you go.
What else do you need to know? They are going to work. So there's a subtle differences between the two, right? So I am holding the aluminum pack. They made it orange. There's a couple of differences. Mark has the titanium features. Basically, the description, the titles are going to tell you what the biggest differences are between these two broadheads.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this one's aluminum. Titanium is pretty indestructible. So, reusing these things is a possibility. They're both geared to shoot up to 450 feet per second. Now, with the 500 that's coming out, and the 505 from 10 point, there's going to be some, a little bit of time frame there to figure out which guys can shoot which broadheads out of there. But these you can shoot out of anything. But they were designed to shoot out of the Ravens that were 400, 430 feet per second. So, with that, it's, they've got the rear deploying blades, which is typical of mechanicals. They've got an internal spring system in there. But with that high rate of speed, what that does is that without a collar, again, you're getting rid of those issues of not putting them on properly. So they basically are a no collar. So what they do is they'll deploy this way down.
Yep.
And that energy is enough to push that. It's a 2-inch cut, leaves a tremendous wound channel. I've hunted with broadheads very similar to this in the past. And with that, coming out of a bow at 450 feet per second, it's gonna do some damage. It's just what you want. You want to create an exit wound, and that's what these are going to do for you. The aluminum ones got just a little bit different style tip on there. These have more like a chisel tip or a trocar. That's kind of like a smoother, more, a little bit not as much of an angle on that tip. But they're both going to be bone crackers. They're both going to work very, very well. But the titanium is the best of the best. And if you want to shoot the best of the best with your Ravin Crossbow, that's the best of the best, then I recommend that you get those. But the aluminums are equally as well. They're going to perform as well. But again, it's aluminum, so there could be some damage on that ferrule. Correct.
And most of the time when you're shooting an animal with a crossbow, it's not, the question is will it pass through? Well, we always kind of say here, it's not will it pass through, it's how far your bolt is going to travel on the backside at some of those closer ranges. Like, majority of the animals are shot with crossbows, you do get a pass through. So like Mark said earlier, like the chances of either one of these broadheads being reusable, it's an ethics thing, that's up to you. Now, they do offer replacement blades for both of these broadheads, correct?
I believe so. I have not seen them, but for me, you know what? It's a consumable. It's one of those things that once you don't want to compromise that. Same thing with a crossbow bolt. If you shoot it and it hits a tree or ricochets off the rock, put it in the archives because you don't want to risk having any issues. So it's like putting gas in your car.
Yep.
It's going to cost you, but you don't want to take that chance. Don't skimp on it.
Don't skim. So
buy like 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah, especially because we're saving you money.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we could just kind of summarize these two broadheads, right? The titanium, one piece from stem to stern, right? It's a 1-piece ferrule broadhead, 2-inch cut. Both broadheads are 100 grains, so it's going to be the same with the field point that comes with the Ravin .003s that we talked about. That comes with that R26. And the deal is, we're saving you money there. Now we're saving you money on broadheads. You have extras to purchase some of those other things, like a sling, some of those other nice features, the light it knocks, extra bolts. I mean, our deal here is we're just going to save you a bunch of money. The other thing too is we have the aluminum, right? The aluminum runs, the ferrule body runs into that kind of that chisel tip, like Mark was saying. So it's up to you. If you're the person that likes simplicity and you like one piece from stem to stern, the titaniums are going to where you want to live. If you like the aluminum, just because you've had good success with aluminum broadheads in the past and you still truly believe in that style, either one of these is the perfect fit. It's a perfect complement to that Ravin R26 that we're saving you money here on TRS Live. But phenomenal broadheads, rear deploying, 2-inch cut, massive wound channels, massive blood trails, and when customers purchase these style broadheads, we hear about the huge blood trails that these things create.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're very, very powerful out of those high-speed crossbows. You know, like Matt mentioned, it's an ethics issue. You want to make sure you put the best possible hit so that it gives you the ability to track that animal and recover it as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. So a lot of you are brand loyal, right? You already love the Ravin crossbow because you trust in that. Why not trust in the Ravin broadheads here? And especially because we're saving you all kinds of money on it. So the aluminums normally retail in at $54.99. It's a 3-pack. Normally right now $54.99, on sale right now for $43.99. Now titanium, we all know that titanium's a little more expensive first and foremost. So then you kind of get into the titanium here. Normal retail price $84.99. But we have them on sale right now for $67.99. Again, this is one of those here today, gone tomorrow mentalities. So do not wait. Those prices won't last long. And at the prices we have them, the broadheads won't last long. I mean, we're just lucky that we have inventory right now. So this is one of those deals that you're going to want to take advantage of. You already purchased a crossbow from therealshot.com. Now add the broadheads to your arsenal. If you're a fixed TV subscriber, maybe now here you add that to your $5 credit that you already have as being a fixed TV subscriber, and we're saving you more and more money. So that is our goal here at Real Shot, or at the Real Shot and at TRS Live. So I mean, we did a great job today, Mark. I appreciate you joining me. We talked about a lot of knowledge. So again, if you have any further questions on anything crossbow or bow related, do me a favor, reach out to the store. It's 920-750-6140. You can talk to Mark, you can talk to Mike, and you're going to get all your questions answered, and they're going to help you in the best way they possibly can with a phone conversation. The other thing too is if you already have it, please like, share, subscribe to all the Real Shot platforms. That's the Real Shot YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and also TRS Live on Instagram and Facebook. But I mean, Mark, I appreciate it. Any final thoughts for any of the viewers out there on crossbow stuff?
No, not really. But you know, I'll leave with this: is you know, the season's vastly approaching. Get your equipment in order. Don't risk any malfunctions. And you know, obviously, safety is always first. You know, when you're out there, hunt safe, hunt hard, respect the outdoors. It's a privilege, not a right. And you know. Respect others, because everybody's hunting on public property, and you know the property doesn't belong to any one person. Nobody has the right to do that. It belongs to everybody. So just keep that in mind.
Pick up your garbage. That's the one last thing.
Yeah, that too.
Pick up your garbage, everybody. So again, thanks so much to Mark Druick. I appreciate him joining me today. He is super busy. That's why we're going to wrap this up so he can get down to the floor and answer all your questions that you may have. But again, thank you everybody for joining us here today on TRS Live. Remember, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we have another show yet coming forth this week. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So like I always say, hey, I'll see you on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.